Man, that's a good one. Thanks. Dearly deceased Sam Collins, wherever you may be. Yeah, let me just get straight. I'll read the verse first and then talk about whatever I want to talk about. So I don't start rambling on. Ramble on! Here it is. 1 Peter 4:13. Ooh, actually, let's go to 12 because it starts with beloved, which is always nice. We're not talking about Toni Morrison and Oprah. Beloved, do not think it strange concerning... Let's begin again. Beloved, do not think it strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened to you. But rejoice to the extent that you partake of Christ's sufferings. For when his glory is revealed, you may also be glad with exceeding joy. I'm going to keep reading. I hope this doesn't get to be too much. If you are reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you, for the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. On their part he is blasphemed, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, an evildoer, or as a busybody in other people's matters. I'll come back to that. Yet if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God in this matter. Let me briefly, because I won't spend much time on this. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, an evildoer, or as a busybody in other people's matters. That's funny to me. Murderer, yeah, we can all agree that's pretty lame. Thief, oh yeah, don't take stuff. Evildoer, ooh, wow, that sounds terrible. Or a busybody in other people's matters. Don't be all up in everybody's business, murderer. I just thought that was funny that he hollered that one out. I don't know if that was something he was personally struggling with, so he's like, man, let's go ahead and throw that one in there. Or he just wanted to make sure we understood. Don't suffer for your own sake. Useless. You know? Well, that's not true. Complete. It can be used, but it's not edifying. Don't... So don't be like, oh, my sufferings are great, and you're suffering because of all the wrong things that you did. Sure, they can teach you things, but it's not transforming you. Most of the time, I know for sure, when I suffer for my own sake, it tends to be suffering in the thing that I repeat. You know, if I'm suffering like, oh man, you know, let's say, man, what's happening with my creative life? What's happening with my career, man? Why is this going nowhere right now? Most of that's, and, you know, I'll suffer and I'll whine and I'll whatever. A lot of that will often have to do with my repeated, you know, either lack of just like balls out, go for itness, you know, or some version of sloth. And I'd be like, oh, why am I suffering? And then I always think it's funny, like, sometimes I feel like if you ask that out loud or in your brain, man, why is this happening? And you know the answer within 5 or 10 seconds, might not necessarily be a spiritual thing. Because you can, like, answer yourself. You're like, oh, well, it's because this, and this. And really it all just leads to the fact that you're a human being. And that's why. But Christ wants to transform me, us, you, to a realm where you can actually suffer for goodness sake. And you could be like, why am I suffering? Oh, wait, it's because I'm doing the right thing. Oh, it's because I'm loving others. Oh, it's because I'm being self-sacrificing. And you totally will suffer for that. It's so funny. I've often struggled with, like, some form of shame of being, like, super open about following Christ, which is insane, out of some sense of being reproached or being, or maybe even being like lumped in with people who you know, mistranslate Christ's word, or who, you know, that's not even right. You know, being lumped in with people who are human beings just like me, and who, you know what, all human beings are hateful in their own ways. And so people who follow Christ can have problems just like everybody else, and they go ahead and they take Christ's word and, you know, and translate it in their own way and make it serve their own purposes, and that's terrible and that's sin. But I think out of some sense of not wanting to be like, oh, I don't want to be seen as those people, but I'm not those people. And why I would hide my light under a bushel, a light of like the relationship in my life that makes me loving, that guides me away from selfishness, that really just guides me away from that overriding sense of, oh, myself is all that I need. Whatever, to suffer for that is what a blessing. To suffer for that which is most important for me, which is so silly because I've often said that I would go to war for chocolate milk. You know, that if the government was like, you guys can't have chocolate milk anymore, I'd be like, all right, cool. So who can teach me how to shoot? So why I would do that and stumble around for the savior of my soul, who knows? Anyway, the question I wanted to ask was, what was that? Oh, tell me something you've suffered for that was good. Did you stand up to a bully when you were in grade school and then get your face punched in? Have you suffered for art's sake? Have you suffered for God's sake? Have you suffered? What have you suffered for that was good? Not the stuff that was really just you messing up. Although again, don't avoid that, and don't avoid other people's suffering either. That was another thing that was occurring to me this morning. If other people's suffering is in your life, man, tend to them, love the crap out of them. Don't. I know. I go back and forth. I'm either like drawn to that. I'm mostly drawn to that, but every once in a while, I'll be like, I don't really. I'm trying to stay in a good headspace right now, and I'm trying to really focus on my stuff. And they're like so far off on that I just don't want to be dragged down or whatever. What is that? Get out of your head, Brendan. Just go love the crap out of that person, will you? Anyway, what have you suffered for that is good? That was something that you did right, or someone you aided, something that is unassailably good, but then you suffered for it. Happens all the time, and I bet those are great stories too. Holler them at me.